Okay, there we go. We should actually have the proper game listed this time. Let's disable that so we run a little smoother. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not exactly sure what kind of an ending I'm expecting here. I feel like most of the mystery we've kind of already resolved. As far as why is the stranger here, why are there these weird skeletons, why is there a dream world, and so on and so forth. I'm not really even sure why I chose to come this direction. We don't really need to come here anymore from this specific entrance, because as we figured out, there are actually... No, that's not what we want. Here we go. There are actually artifacts in one of these cabins on the beach. So we no longer rely on the artifact that's in the Cliffside Village. Because we can grab this one. But in spite of the fact that we can grab this one, I mean, what do we want to do with it? Let's go over what we know, because funnily enough, I usually feel like... Wait, have we looked at this one before? Probably. Yeah, surely that we wouldn't have missed two of them. Is there a lantern nearby, though? That's the question. We could get a lantern in the church, since we know they're going to be over there. I'm pretty sure we've watched these slide reels, but it may be useful to watch them again to see if we recognize or notice something we might have missed the first time. Oh, doggone it. I got the lantern wet. Okay, Eye of the Universe emits a signal, they see it, they gain visions of it, they're like, yo dog, this is amazing. All hail the Eye of the Universe, they build the thing, they go off to space. Yeah, there's nothing new there. A lot of stuff burned. Here we see the ceiling of the monolith. Okay, yeah. So, No, we're not really missing anything from these slide reels. We saw those slide reels very early when we came here, and they were baffling to us because we really didn't understand them. But now we know them in full context, and there's not a whole lot there that we have missing. Now, there's the third lock on the monolith. There's also the code that we don't know that is in the slide church, so to say. The one that we can't get to because the bridge is out. Oh look, you can see our ship. That's pretty cool. Wow, that puts things in perspective. We could go back into the dream world, but I don't really know. You know what? I think we need to reset. I need to clear my head and figure out what exactly do we want to focus on, because I actually don't know. I don't know what we're trying to solve anymore. I mean, we know that we don't have the key to the monolith, so we need, or the solution to one of the monolith puzzles. So that's what we need to a degree. But I have no leads, like no ideas as to how we might actually pursue that. And all secondary and tertiary leads, I feel like, for the most part, we've followed up on. The computer will likely... Well, here's one. Oh no, that's just the marker we have. Okay, so there's a secret of the sealed vault, which is a question mark. Don't they usually show up as full pictures once you've resolved them? Sealed vault... Secret passage. Light coming out of the vault gave me a vision of climbing a spiral staircase to a room near the top of a tower. One of the tower's inhabitants pointed to a mural of an identical tower beneath a ringed planet and picked up an artifact and carried it downstairs to a room with a green fire. Sometime later, several lamps in the mural turned on while others turned off, plunging the mural into darkness and revealing a secret passage. So that is the significance of the lanterns turning on and off. And then the secret well, the reel I found in the slide burning room, shows a container marked with a glowing symbol being handed to a shadowy figure. The lights are extinguished and the figure carries the container down into a dark well. I don't really recall that or what that means. Maybe we should take a closer look at that. Starlit Cove. What is the Starlit Cove? What is this? Wait, that's right. This is the cove where we can't figure out how to get into that hole in the middle, I believe. Because it's guarded by a guardian. Shrouded woodlands doesn't seem to be connected to anything. It says we're missing something here at the reservoir. An enormous reservoir with wooden piers and buildings on both shores. I found a room with a burn control interface and a projection that seems to indicate a broken connection between the stranger and another craft. Yeah, the drone. I found a projection showing the stranger's current trajectory and the sun's predicted supernova radius, but there's still more to explore there. We've been there what seems like 100 times, but let's go to the reservoir. If there's something we're missing there, then let's see if we can figure out what that is. What the? I think we hit a part of the stranger. It's possible we can catch up to it. question is, do we have enough fuel? Okay, we're now positive in our momentum towards the stranger. Let's aim down so that we can hopefully match our trajectory with it. We'll probably cut the fuel at about half. For some reason, I think we ran into a part of the machinery and it broke the ship. Oh! And I managed to get hit by a rotating piece of the stranger. Well, that wasn't exactly what we wanted. Nevertheless, we shall simply go back with rekindled efforts. Okay, let's maybe not hit something this time. Okay. So yeah, I suppose we now investigate the reservoir. Although, is it possible that the only thing we're missing there is the presence of the monolith, which I feel like we're not going to actually resolve until we open the last seal on the monolith in the virtual world? And why would we need to open up the virtual seal on the monolith when it's fake? Like, it's not real. I suppose that's going to be part of the mystery we tried to solve here. There are two gate-like structures there and there, but they seem primarily constructed to raise and lower the diving bell. Did we ever watch this? I don't even think I noticed that before. There's a slide reel here. I recognize the symbol. I think we might have seen this one already. Okay, burned real, burned real, burned real. Oh, wait, maybe we haven't seen this. So here is the monolith. It appears that it is in the stranger because we see the pattern on the back there is crisscrossy like the camouflage pattern. They build the diving bell, they draw it into the water and drop it, and wait, there was something here. Hard to see what that is. I guess that's it? Oh, but the ship log did update, so maybe that's literally all we were missing. That's actually really fortunate. We could have been wandering around there for quite some time otherwise. I'm going to assume that was the last piece we were missing. If it isn't, we'll find out when we get into the ship log on the next rotation. Otherwise, we kind of need to figure out what we want to do now. Oh, we should go back to the dream world where the, what was it? The, which one was it? The one with the house. We could drop our lantern at the house and see if maybe we can evade the lizards that way. Where was that? It wasn't the cliffside. Was it the tiny circle church? I mean, we're right here. We might as well give it a try. Because I'm pretty sure the cliffside fire takes us to not the place that I'm thinking of. Okay, so that's how we get the boat, but I'm pretty sure this is the one with the house off in the distance. So we did confirm that if we bump into them while we have the lantern dropped, they can still break our bones. But as long as we don't, you know, like, actively try to run into them, I don't think they can really see us. Now again, what we're trying to accomplish here, I actually don't know. Because in spite of having gotten into this room and seen it from the inside, I didn't really see anything that we were missing. There didn't seem to be kind of like any big obvious like, hey, this is a secret kind of thing. Although, this is a catcher. Why is there a catcher here? Because there's a catcher on the other side. Did we ever come over here? Wait, there's a catcher here. But no catcher. What? There's no receiving catcher on the other side of the river, it would appear. Is that where we entered? Could we just come in, exit, go up these stairs? Yeah, I remember because we looked over there and saw that. So we could teleport over here so we wouldn't have to go do all that stuff where we were walking around. So we could teleport there, and then we could immediately teleport here to save a little bit of time. So the fact that there's a shortcut that takes us here really seems to imply that there is a reason to be here. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop the artifact. And we'll leave its... Oh, we'll just fall into the water, actually. What a great time to try out that shortcut. So, let me think. We leave, and then we immediately go to our left, up the little slope, and there should be a catcher. Okay, we've gone left. Now we should go up, up, up. I thought there was supposed to be an up over here. Here we go. And we should... Wait, was there one over here? No. Okay. But there is this one. There we go. That's a little bit faster. We don't have to take quite so much time to go around. And maybe we drop the lantern, like, right here. Just keep moving. There we go. Now we can see. Okay, so with this whole area illuminated, we shouldn't have too much trouble kind of seeing everything that's here. In addition to the fact that we don't have to be as afraid of the lizard elks while we're walking around. I remember we found some houses kind of over there, I think. Looks like there might be something here too. Looks like just a dock with some chairs, a goblet. So a place for the lizard elks to come and enjoy the water. As long as he doesn't shine the lantern light on us, I don't think he can see us. And as long as we don't bump into him, he won't be able to feel us. Now, these lizard elks are either walking out here or they're patrolling. They seem to come unendingly, meaning that they must be cycling somehow from that house over there to over here. For what purpose, I don't know, and the means through which they are doing that, I do not know. Especially when these doors, they don't really seem like doors at all. Even in the virtual world, they seem like solid objects. They don't even seem to be handles or anything that would let us... Oh! They open from the inside. Okay. Then I must conclude that for our purposes, there are no handles or means for us to enter. again, even when we were exploring this area with the lantern, with the textures, we didn't really find anything here, and secondarily, while we're doing it now, I'm still not finding anything in here. Oh, right. It looks like we took too much time since these ones perished and we were not able to explore the house. Which really only leaves us with the tower as the last location. Unless, of course, we wanted to go into the diving bell, which isolates us to the 3 puzzles, which I don't think we really want to do. Almost. Not quite. We could go into the back end of this tower, but that doesn't really seem to get us anything. One more shot. There we go. But yeah, going into the top part of this tower, I don't think reveals any secrets that we don't already know. And we're kind of left with the last puzzle, which is this fire, because this fire contains the Guardian that we don't know how to get past. We've been here half a dozen times, so we're not likely to find anything strikingly new. But we have to try something. We have to try to see if there's just something that we missed. Why is that Guardian there, and why is it seemingly impenetrable? How do we extinguish it? How do we extinguish the lights nearby? We did determine that you can extinguish lights that are inextinguishable if you use one of those wooden panel things that looks kind of like this but not. It's the ones that call the rafts. Those can be used to extinguish lights that you normally can't extinguish. Here we have an elevator. The white lines indicate that the elevator goes up and down from that location and follows that track. But there's nothing here for us to do to call it. We can't bring it down. There's just not any usable pieces near us, any interactable devices. At least none that I'm noticing. we of course have this singular elevator, which will go down. Now, what happens if we send it down without us? Dark Souls has taught me to check all elevators in such a way. So we could try sending this one back up and seeing if there is anything below it, but there isn't. We can drop the artifact on the ground here and walk around a little bit, but we're not going to find anything. We can, of course, see the cone of influence that the Guardian observes, but likewise we also see that there is not really any chance of us being able to avoid it. Which truly has me feeling that we must extinguish the lights on that bridge. But how? Are you kidding me? I don't know if that worked or not, but I tried walking backwards. And I was waiting for the Guardian to slow us down, because if you noticed, when you're within the sight of the Guardian, it begins to slow your movement, and that's what prevents us from advancing on it. But that time I walked backwards and the movement didn't slow, and so I'm wondering if that was because I was walking backwards and I couldn't see where I was going, and so I accidentally walked into the water, or I'm wondering if the Guardian actually didn't slow us. Oh no, is it? Looks like we're not gonna get our answer. Nuts! Well, we're gonna have to meditate until the next loop, because there's really nothing left for us to do on the stranger. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to immediately go to the house. The house is in the Tiny Circle Church. The Tiny Circle Church is most quickly accessed by taking the, quote, normal entrance into the stranger, grabbing the artifact that's in the house protected by Ghost Rock, and I have the right window, and accessing the artifact in the building protected by Ghost Rock. So, we haven't done this in a while, but we're actually going to enter right in here. It's amusing because by placing the ghost rock here the way they did, they almost ensured that most players would kind of avoid this area upon initially arriving at the stranger. And even if they didn't avoid this area, even if they found the entrance into that shed from the bottom and found this artifact, they might not even see it or notice it or recognize its significance. I mean, admittedly, if I had found it, I probably would have picked it up and taken it with us, but it's just another one of those kind of subtle game designs that manipulates the player into generally doing what the developers, or game designers I should say, wanted the player to do. Because even though the game is non-linear and you're meant to explore and find places in whatever order you happen to find them in, you're still guided to some extent by the design of the level in such a way to encourage players to find things in a certain kind of order or see one thing before another and that kind of thing. Now, not every player probably avoided the Ghost Rock shed or cabin or whatever you want to call it quite as long as I did, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of players saw Ghost Rock there and thought, oh, I better stay away from there, and went and explored other locations first. But now that we know there's a catcher over here, we can just teleport there. And then immediately teleport. I think there's a second one. Here it is. Over here. Now, we had our journey here cut short last time because it got flooded. But now that it is not flooded, we can journey into the cabin proper and see if there's any significant changes, any significant differences that we can identify while they're in the virtual world, so to say, or looking at things without the textures created by the lantern. I'm going to let both of these lizards go into the underground section in front of us. I'm gonna do a little bit of a sweep here to see if there's anything else we miss. I really don't think there is. Mostly I'm just here killing time. Because what's going to happen is they're going to go down there, they're going to go all the way over there, and then they're going to respawn over there when they exit those houses. I kind of want to create as much distance between us and them as possible. A big reason for doing that is I want to see if us traveling here on our own does anything different. Oh, well, I said I wanted to create a bunch of distance, but they move so slowly it actually doesn't look like we created really any distance, did we? Wow, there's already another one coming this way. Again, I'm not really sure what we're looking for here, and I'm not even sure there is anything that we're looking for, anything meaningful, or anything we missed. Mostly, I'm just trying to figure out if coming here like this does anything different. Because walking up here, we're just immediately seen by these guys. But, well, what if we come up here like this? Can they not see us? Shoot. I feel like there was something to that. Maybe not exactly the way we did it, and maybe I'm still going about it the wrong way. But I really feel like there was something there. Like, are we supposed to follow the one with the lantern right behind him? Sort of shadowing him, using him as cover? Are we supposed to avoid the gaze of the others with their lanterns, and then what? I mean, there was that door that the one was exiting through, so it was open, we were able to use it. Is that door our ultimate end goal? Because these things walk so slowly, and because you walk through this tunnel section, it almost seems like if there was a puzzle where you were supposed to hide behind one of them, this would be training you to do that. This would be essentially wordlessly encouraging the player, yes, you're safe when you're behind them. So maybe we just follow this one behind it, up into that room and out the door. No, he definitely sees us. One more time. As the advice has been given to me, if you try something in Outer Wilds and it doesn't work 3 times, chances are it's probably not something you're supposed to do. And I do get the feeling that this isn't something we're necessarily supposed to do, but that open door is so tantalizing. So we attempted the first time to kind of see whether entering the room without the lantern was possible. And yes, it does seem like it's possible. We tried the second time to see if perhaps we could hide behind one of the lizard elks that are entering that room and use them as cover, and that does not seem to be the case. So this third time, we shall attempt to simply slip by everyone and make an immediate break for that open door to see if there's anything there that has any kind of significance or meaning or what have you. Perhaps even we just wait for this one to travel in here and leave. Maybe we wait right here. Wouldn't this give us the best chance of getting in there without accidentally bumping into the one that's walking around? Let's sit here and wait. Wait for the one that comes up these stairs to appear. That way we'll know we've given it the longest amount of time possible. They're not coming, and I'm becoming impatient. Alright, I think we have enough time here. Oh! Whoa. Okay. So I think that indicates that no, we're not supposed to do this like this, so whatever mystery there is regarding that cabin shall have to remain a mystery for the time being. For now, let us travel, then, to the tower. But in order to do that, I would feel much more comfortable if we had a raft. So we go to the tower, we continue to explore whether or not walking backwards against the Guardians actually did anything, or whether or not I just accidentally... Hey, is that anything? Oh, that's just the church. Whether or not I accidentally walked into the water. This is gonna be a tough jump. Nope. Just out of reach. Okay, we should be able to get the answer to this question fairly quickly. It's not going to take us very long to get to the Guardian statue. Alternatively, we could have gone to the diving bell, because there's the statue that's immediately there. On the right trial, the trial on the right, the one we haven't solved yet. But I figure if this isn't how we're supposed to solve this puzzle, we need to keep looking for more clues, and there aren't any clues that I am aware of in the diving bell dream world, virtual world, I need to start calling it. Okay, so let's make sure we're right lined up with the bridge. We turn around. No, it's definitely affecting us. Seeing if there's a button we can push to do anything here. Now that was peculiar. I'm not entirely certain whether this was accurate or not, but it almost seemed as if I wasn't being slowed down while walking backwards. I don't know if that's just because that was my perception or whether it was actually true, but I'd like to try that one more time. I think it would be ridiculous if this was actually how you were supposed to solve this, so even if it is how you're supposed to solve this, I don't think this is how you're supposed to discover how you solve it, and more than likely it is all in my head. I'm a little bit grasping at straws here because of sort of our lack of leads, so to say. Now where does this lead again? This walkway? This leads to the church, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure. We determined there wasn't really anything useful down here. Well, did we try going down here without? Right, there's nothing we can do here without the lantern. Now this is weird. Why can't this one see us? We're right here. Is it because of the lights? Or lack thereof? I see, yeah, those lights aren't lit. We've gone to this church before, but just want to see once more if there's something that we're missing. It's so dark. Interesting that raft doesn't have a dotted white line. No, it really does seem like there's nothing here, and I know we've came back here and said that several times. It's just every now and then I feel like we need to go back with the information that we currently have and see if there's anything new we can discover. It has always bothered me, though, that there's seemingly nothing here. Oops. Like, there's the eye symbol, so I think you're supposed to see the eye of the universe and be like, oh, look, here's the church. This was what the church in The Stranger was based off of. Or should I say that the church in The Stranger was based off the one on the planet, and the one in the virtual world is the one based off the one in The Stranger. However you want to word it, doesn't bother me. Already? Dang, we really did waste a lot of time. Well, let's meditate again and see what we can find on the next cycle. What are we missing? There must be something. I mean, we have so many of the pieces, so many things that we know. The Guardian and the last third seal seem to be what's holding us back the most. Let's check the computer real quick. Okay, so the burn slide reel was the only thing we were missing. A slide reel that shows a strange vault being encased in a large metal structure lowered underwater. Nearly all the slides had been burned and cannot be viewed. We have our 3 question marks, the secret well, which I'm not really... Is that the well? That's the secret well? In which case, yes, we The reel I found sliding shows a container marked with a glowing symbol being handed to a shadowy figure. The lights are extinguished and the figure carries the container down into a dark well. So is that the well where the monolith is? Maybe. And the secret passage. The light coming out of the vault gave me a vision. Climbing a spiral staircase near a room at the top of the tower, one of the stranger's inhabitants pointed to a mural of an identical tower beneath a ringed planet that picked up an artifact and carried it downstairs to a room with a green fire. We've already been there. Sometime later, several lamps in the mural room turned on while others turned off, plunging the mural into darkness and revealing a secret passageway. Again, we had already done that. Why is it a question mark? A sealed vault. And why are some of these not connected? The Endless Canyon. Well, we'll never find anything by sitting around and doing nothing. That seems to keep happening to us. You know, I'd like to go visit the slide burning building one more time. Perhaps there's something there we can find or discover. Now, if memory serves correct, there is a relatively simple path through here. All the way to the wall, and then around. So weave between the trees, all the way to the wall, and then around. Now we get some unique music when we're in here. We have this code input machine. We have a lantern. What are we missing? Now, there is the code in the virtual world that we used to raise the platforms and lower the platforms to a point where we could use them. Is it possible that we're supposed to input that code here? There's also a projector here. But we've seen this before. Wait. Oh, I see. We ended up back here. Is the code written somewhere? And what is this chain? Maybe it's just nothing. So this used to be hanging on the wall. It has fallen down, probably due to age and neglect. What are we missing? Well, we're here. Let's go into the diving bell chamber. More than likely, we just simply do not have the piece of the puzzle that's needed to solve that third seal, but perhaps hanging around it will give us some ideas. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. We got a star kind of thing, crescent moon on the right side, how to put this? Actually, I need to redo that. I know you can't see this, so this probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you. We've got most of the moon dark with the moon crescent on the right side, most of the moon bright with the dark part on the left side. We've got the little eye thing, and then the shining star symbol again. Perhaps that is the code, perhaps it is not. We shall find out. And we know coming over here extinguishes the seal. And again, I don't think extinguishing the seal really gets us anywhere until we have the ability to extinguish all three. But at the same time, Is there anything we're missing when we do this? And why is there this here? Like, hold on. Why is there a series of inputs right here that seemingly don't do anything? Is it just to throw us off? And then of course there's this. Huh? Almost seems like it's coming down from the ceiling. Okay, enough playing around. Let's grab the lantern. I want to check to see if we can see up. Oh, okay, we can. That light coming down from above is literally just like a hole. A hole, so we'd need to plug that, wouldn't we? And when we rotate this, we can see light, and we get this vision. Now, what was the vision again? Okay, there was the 3 symbols. One in the tower. This just seems to be the clue as to how to get into those rooms. I see, I think the significance is the other lights turn on, but the ones... Ah, yes, indeed. The ones nearest to the painting with the planet on it are the ones that you need to extinguish in order to enter through their secret passage. Yeah, okay, there's nothing for us to do there. We need the pieces of the puzzle. We need the missing pieces. And what's funny is we actually solved one of them, the one where we extinguish the lights on the raft. We solved that one on our own. We didn't even solve that one legitimately through like clues that the game gave us or something. So whatever we're missing, we're actually missing like 2 big pieces of the puzzle. Sounds like the dam broke. Surf's up. It's just I'm sitting here racking my brain, coming up with all sorts of ridiculous theories and methods for proceeding, like, maybe all lights can be extinguished if you shine your light on them long enough, or, you know, silly things like that that I know aren't actually true. I really am grasping at straws. And I've somehow made it this far without looking anything up. The closest I've come to looking something up is Lepcis choosing to tell us directly that we needed to do what we fear the most, aka go into the jellyfish. That was the part of the game I feel like I was the most stuck on. But we've managed to make it this far without using a guide, without looking things up. I feel like we have to be so close to something, and that we have to be able to find it on our own, right? But yet we're running around in circles here, and I'm struggling to figure this out. We know we have a word for this now. This is the well. We're trying to get into the well, or perhaps we're trying to find a way past the Guardian, one or the other. They're both kind of the same. It's possible we could get into the well through some other means, like maybe, for instance, the elevator that's over here, the one that goes down into the hole. If we could find a way to get up onto that elevator, we might actually be able to access the well from a different location. But we can't seem to figure that out either. This one, this elevator, if we can find a way up there, then we potentially find a way into the well, but I mean, as you see, it's just I mean, I'm gonna drop down here. I know this is gonna kill us, but this is, yeah, this is just an interesting place that we haven't gone to that clearly seems like we need to get there somehow. The only way I know of to do that is by taking the elevator, but we don't know how to get to the elevator. One thing I will say, when we do figure this out, it's going to be extremely cathartic, and it's going to feel great to have finally resolved the mystery, but this one may take us a while. If that's not your thing, I wouldn't blame you if you skip this episode or fast forward a bit, but we're going to have to kind of granularly sift through all of this, and it's not going to be quick, unfortunately. Nope. One thing we could try doing is lighting the building that appears next to the docks. This one. Now, have we tried coming over here at this specific location without the digital lantern? We could take a quick peek to see if there's anything interesting. No, it doesn't appear like there is. But I would like to do the same thing by coming over here and checking out... Wait, we can extinguish that? That doesn't do anything, though. So this is the alternate entrance into this tower, right? The one that exists within the real world. It's awfully bright in here. But this room doesn't have anything interesting in it. We can extinguish the lights, sure, but... it doesn't actually get us anywhere. Already? Man, 22 minutes goes by quick. Can we extinguish the lights in the real world tower? In that same room that we just extinguished the lights? I don't think we could, but I also don't think it's relevant. I don't think there's any reason we would want to extinguish the lights in the real world tower. Plus, I'm fairly certain we tried that before. Let's go over some of the locations in our head. The Cliffside Village. In the virtual world. We discovered that there were invisible bridges. We traveled to a location in the Cliffside virtual world that led us to a glitch in the system, so to say, and also led us to figuring out that we could drop the lantern. True, we had already figured that out, but that was the reward, so to say, for solving that part of the game. And then, of course, there is the... I need to focus on flying, hold on. Actually, now that I think about it, we want to go this way. It's fine. Okay. The Cliffside Village, I feel like we've, quote, resolved. There was also the Tiny Circle Church, which I don't feel like we resolved. And that's gonna bother me. Tiny Circle Church leads us to the... it leads us to the cabin where they're playing music, but I don't ever feel like we truly uncovered what we needed to do there, if anything. Like, I'm not even certain if we need to do something there. And that's almost a bigger part of the problem. cheating our way over here doesn't seem to do much for us. It's probably just as good to grab a raft. Okay, every other time we've gotten stuck, there's always been something, some place to go, some way to access something that we've missed, and then once we discover it, the mystery is resolved. There must be something like that here. There has to be. No matter how impossible it seems or how difficult it feels to uncover, there's something that we're missing. We just need to figure out what. Doing that lets us access the raft. Now, we've been down there before. That's just where the Guardian statue ends up being. We gain access to it by going through here. Now, interestingly, there's no way to go from where we are now over there. This is kind of a dead end. But we could go from here to here. Now, why is that the case? There again is the well. And there again is our inability to go up to the second floor. Why can we go back and forth between this location? Why is this here? Why wouldn't they simply make a bridge? Maybe it was to teach you that this thing existed. And that's all the reason it's here. Maybe there's nothing else to it. But this is the end of the line. This is the extent to which our progress ends. We've made the loop. We've gone the full circle. We've gone down and checked out the well 100 times. There is something that we're missing. There is some part of this we don't understand. One of the puzzles was solved by extinguishing the raft while in transit. Another one of these puzzles was solved by dropping the lantern and seeing things in a different way. There must be another piece of this that can be resolved, but we're not resolving. Look, that elevator doesn't have any white lines. That almost indicates that you're not able to use it. That elevator does, as does that one. This elevator takes you down into that area that leads you to the well. That elevator leads to the black hole. I don't know what that elevator does. The Guardian statues are light-based. We know this. We know that if they can't see because there is no light, then they don't activate. Is there something that we're missing? Some method of extinguishing lights that we're not aware of? We can conceal our light, but that really hasn't been used in too many puzzles. The ability to conceal your light has been used in a puzzle to bypass the Guardians. You use that to get into the church. You conceal the light and then you can walk. But where do we go with that? Let's go into the tower from this entrance here and see if there's any meaningful anything about extinguishing the lights in this tower. Here they are. There are candles here in this world. Nothing. We can climb up to the top, but that doesn't really do very much. It does give us a view of everything in the village, and in fact if we drop the chandelier it gives us a rather nice view of everything, but or the lantern, not the chandelier, but again that doesn't really help us. And this room here simply seems to be a method for accessing the raft, which we can go ahead and do. But there's no real meaning behind it. We already know we can access the raft. We've already done it before. We already know we can travel from one location to another. But why would we want to? This is the elevator to the lantern, the Cliffside Village. There's no real reason to do this part. We've already been up there, we already discovered what was up there. Out of the 3 main virtual areas, I feel like the Cliffside one is the one that we understand the best. Now, there's this world, which doesn't really seem to have much purpose either, aside from just showing you the diving bell and showing you that there was an obelisk inside of it, but no more. Here we see the entrance to this circle church, which we've gone to several times and been unable to determine any parts to it that we can do more in. After all, every time we go over there into the house, we get thrown out. Which just leads us back here. Where essentially we've just gone full circle. How can we extinguish those lights? What on earth are we missing? See, it teaches us. It teaches us to extinguish the lights. It teaches us, as we walk through here, hey, you need to extinguish the lights. Because then it doesn't see you. It's a clear tutorial-esque method of doing this. But then we get here and we can't. We can't extinguish the lights. So why show us that we need to extinguish the lights if we can't do what the game wants us to do? Unless, of course, we can do it and I just don't realize it. It almost seems like we made it. We were nearing making it there, and we did that by jumping. I don't know if that's, again, the actual intended way to do it, but we'll give it another shot here since we're already running out of time. You can hear some of the lizard elk up above walking around, but I don't know if that was ever supposed to be a meaningful part of the puzzle. Nuts. Well, we passed it, technically. Since we're here, I would like to check one more thing. There is this alternate entrance into the tower. While it's flipped on its side, is there anything meaningful we can do in here? It doesn't look like it even wants to let us... There we go. Oh! What? There's a... What? There's a slide in there. Wait, what? Hold on. There's a door. Bloody hell. Oh, come on. We can do this. Just focus, let our fuel come back, be patient. Okay, let's see if we can get on a flat surface. There we go. What is this? What is what is this? One of these doors is busted open. There doesn't seem to be anything inside of it. Open? Oh, what is this? Crescent, Saturn, Crescent, Star, Star. No, open. Gosh darn it. What did I say? Crescent, Saturn. Oh, I've already forgotten it. Crescent, Saturn, Crescent, Star, Star. There it was. Crescent, Saturn, Crescent, Star, Star. I'm gonna do CSC Star, Star. Okay. Well, we found something in a very unexpected place, but we found it all the same. So there really was a puzzle there based on extinguishing the lanterns in the tower. But why? We saw the, how to put it, the vision where the guy goes into the tower and the lanterns extinguish and he points to it and all of that. We saw that several times, but we thought that was just the clue to get into the murals. But no, that was very distinctively a clue to get into the tower. But we've tried to do that several times. I remember we went up there and there didn't seem like there was any way to extinguish those lights. Is literally the only time you can do it when the tower floods? Let's check the computer, because the computer seemed to update. Oh, the computer has no question mark there anymore. The symbol room. A secret room filled with wooden containers marked with different symbols. I opened the container marked with the symbol of a burning slide reel and found a vertical sequence inside. Crescent, Saturn, crescent, star, star. Is that actually crescent? Hold on. No, that's not crescent. It's waning or whatever they call that. When it's not, it's like the opposite of a crescent. Anyway, we're gonna have to remember that. Opposite of crescent, Saturn. Opposite of crescent, star, star. I want to go back to the tower to see if there is any kind of ability for us to extinguish those lanterns before the tower falls over. Again, I was almost certain that we'd tried before and was not met with any kind of success. There was also a slide reel in one of those in like the container, the bin. And so I'm curious to see if we can go and grab that as well. There's also fuel canisters inside, which seems to imply that they wanted you to get there. Like, why would they put fuel canisters, the developers? Why would a developer put a fuel canister inside of that room if you were only intended to get there at the very end of the cycle? If you were intended to get there at the end of the cycle, they just would have left it blank. They wouldn't have put anything in it because there wouldn't have been any need to. The player would never need more fuel because the cycle would be over. There would be nothing left to explore. But yeah, they had fuel canisters in there, which seems to imply that there's a way to get in there before it floods, during a time through which you could use those fuel canisters. Why would they have fuel canisters there at all, though? Oh, okay. We had actually already picked that up then. But there's no way to extinguish these. Is that legitimately how you're supposed to get up there? Can you cut the power? Hold on. I know how to do this. That pattern of lights matched the pattern of lights in the virtual world. How all of them were lit except one of them next to the painting. That's exactly what it looked like in the virtual world. We need to get our hands on a lantern. Not a lantern, yeah, a lantern. And we need to extinguish them in the virtual world. And then from there, can we do this on foot? I didn't think we could. Let's try it. If this fails, we'll just meditate and reset. I know it's a pain, but so is finding a raft last minute notice. But I think that's what it was. I think we're supposed to go into the virtual world and... Oh, they're not gonna let us. Come on, you can do it. Nope. Can we get a lantern over here? Yeah, I guess technically we can if we just keep going. We can get it from the ghost matter shed, cabin, whatever. But okay, so we have two really good clues. One of them is we can extinguish the lights in the virtual world, and that will let us access that room in the real world. And the second really good clue we have is we have the code, presumably, for the slide burning building, which is not Eclipse, or sorry, not Crescent Saturn, not Crescent Star. So we've got two good leads. I think we can definitely use them to finish up the last missing pieces of our mystery. So, because we had 3 question marks on the computer, this definitely covers 2 of them, at least. Although, once again, we find ourselves needing a raft. Somewhere. Hey, there's one. I kind of can't believe we went up there while the tower had fallen down. Like, even while I was navigating our way into that room, I was just sitting there thinking, like, there's no way this is how you're supposed to get here. Because we had to do all sorts of weird things where we went into the water and around the central shaft and, like, into the water again, and up the stairs sideways, and it didn't, like, Outer Wilds has had us do some pretty bonkers stuff, but nothing quite like that. Oh, we're gonna need to refuel. Let's go ahead and do that before we go into the virtual world, because otherwise I'll probably forget when we leave, and I'll jump off one of these buildings, and then we'll run out of fuel, and then we'll just be stuck. Oh, shoot. The fuel tanks are over there. Okay. So, we need to go into the virtual world, create the tower, go into the tower, extinguish the lights, go into the real world, go up the tower, profits. It's funny though, even though I was like, oh ho ho, we discovered that in a way that we really weren't supposed to, there's an interesting concept in game theory, game whatever you want to call it, and that is that, oh, we should probably turn those off. There we go. There's an interesting concept in just game theory in general, which is you can never do something in a game that a developer hadn't really intended you to do in the first place. Of course, there are limitations to that saying. If you glitch the game or execute what is it called? It's not loose coding, it's called, it's when doing something in the game, arbitrary code execution. ACE, I think. But, of course those things are not what a developer would intend you to do. But the common example is Grand Theft Auto, when discussing this particular idea, which is, people say, oh, like, you're not supposed to run people over in Grand Theft Auto. You're not supposed to drive around and pick up strippers and stuff like that. But you are, because it exists within the game. The very fact that you're allowed to do all of these terrible things is what the game has been designed to let you do. So you're not playing the game, quote, wrong by doing these things. They are there, they didn't appear there accidentally. I think that's probably the more important takeaway. So I'm sitting here going, oh, we managed to get into the tower and discover that secret, even though, you know, we weren't supposed to, quote, get in there that way. But is that really true? Because that door didn't open on accident when the tower got knocked over. Somebody had to program it to open. Somebody had to program, you know, how the tower fell, and probably they knew you could get in there. There's so much testing in this game, I sincerely doubt that they didn't know that you could get into the tower after it had fallen. And I would guess that they purposefully did that so that players like me who were lost and not really sure how to get in there could have a secondary method of getting that clue, of making that connection that, oh, that's how you do it. So I can't even really say like, oh, ho, you know, we found a way that wasn't intended. It's more just like, no, that was just the other way you were supposed to do it. So, yeah, look at this. This is so cool. Okay. I'm really excited to be able to get to view this not, you know, swimming through water. Okay, so we've got some fuel here. And yeah, let's just open this up. We see this. We can open this up. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, these are the codes. These are the codes for all of the puzzles, but they've been burned away. Oh, wait, no, this, hold on. This is, Sun Eye, Flame Eye, Flame. That's the one that we already knew. We already knew Sun Eye, Flame Eye, Flame. Okay. Which means that there definitely are codes that we need for that one and that one. We already have that code, Sun Eye, Flame Eye, Flame. We already have this code, which we use by dropping the lantern. And now we have the slide burning code. So, funnily enough, you know, we had already gotten all the information we needed there. Well, no, I can't even say that because the ship log did update. So, we have at least filled in the ship log a bit more now. But we didn't really... We kind of already knew what we needed to do now, which is we need to go to the slide burning building. Oops, we kind of just skipped right off there. We need to go to the slide burning building. Oh, we're getting carried away. Getting carried away and electrocuted. Okay, well, that's fine. We can go back and go directly to the Cliffside Village this way. But we already knew we had the code, so to say, the sequence for the slide burning building, and that's ultimately where we were going to go. Getting to fill in the last bit on our computer was just kind of a bonus. Not that we won't be checking our computer, though, to see what that actually said. I'm kind of just tickled, though, that we discovered that. I really felt like I was kind of at the end of things that I could reasonably try to uncover. 3 of the containers are marked with glowing vault seals, but their contents have been burned away. But yeah, I really felt like I was just floundering, trying to find anything we had missed. I'm really glad that we were able to get just another clue without, you know, I think that's always what I'm worried about, is that we're gonna get so stuck at some point where we just have to spend like hours and hours walking around aimlessly doing things that don't matter. I don't mind solving a difficult puzzle, but I do want to at least be making forward progress of some kind. Why am I having so much trouble finding this? It's that one, right? Okay, so where are we going? Oh, right, the slide burning room. Building, I should say. So I believe we just go straight. Oh! Well, that was close. I think that was probably a pretty near-death experience. Alright, so we had... where is it? Eclipse, which was not an eclipse, so it was this one. Eclipse, Saturn, Eclipse, and Star. Did I not do this correctly? That was the code though, right? I thought that was the code. Maybe I got these ones wrong. Maybe it was this one. Oh, it was. I just totally... Hey, the chain! We saw that chain. And I was like, hey, what's that chain do? Fancy. Wonder what we're gonna find. Ooh, more slides. More slides are always good. How do we put the slide in? I guess we don't. Oh, we take the lantern and put it somewhere, I see. So wait, what's this? What? I don't get it. Let's see what the others are, and maybe that'll make this make more sense. They're pictures of the slide burning symbol on various buildings that we've seen already. What does that mean? We know where all these locations are. We've been to them. Is this like a scavenger hunt? Well, I have basically no visual memory, so let's pick one that's really easy to remember. And funnily enough, it's actually this one to me, because this is an aerial view, and I can memorize the things around where we want to go. So, if we're looking at the tower, and there's an island in front and 2 dock stations. So if we're looking at the tower, or the tower is on our left, then on our right is a chunk of elevated land and a tree, and we need to go to the tree. It's also right next to that hollow pool of water that gets flooded when the water comes in like this. So we have to be looking at the tower, 2 docks. Nope, I did that wrong. Looking at the tower, 2 docks in front of us. The tower is on our right. Chunk of land. Sorry, tower is on our left. Chunk of land. On our right. I hope this doesn't kill us. Well, I hope those aren't your... Do you really want those to be your last words? But that's okay. I think I had that memorized. Chunk of tower on the left, 2 docks in front of us, chunk of land on the right, go up, tree, it's near there. That being said, we did miss out on the slide, which is a little disappointing, so we'll probably go back there. Let's check the computer though and see what it says. Map projection. Map projection. Secret location. Map projection. Secret location. Okay. A projection that seems to reveal a secret location somewhere within the stranger. So it is a scavenger hunt. Abandoned temple. Entering the correct sequence opens the path to a secret room beneath the temple. However, there's more to explore here, and that's probably the slide that we didn't get to see. Come to think of it, we determined that the church loops around, or sorry, not the church, but the slide burning room building loops around to a room with a lantern and a projector in it. So once we get in there, actually reading the slide should be pretty easy. Hey. Also, Lepcis, I hope you're happy, because I'm fairly certain this game has completely cured me of my phobia of being in space. Okay, so... Uh-oh. Oh no. Almost got mushed. So we have our slide reel. Now we just need to loop around here, I think it is. Yeah. Stick that in there. Grab a lantern. And it's movie time. Okay, so we have the diving bell. They're putting it into the water. We know we're on this ranger because of the crisscross pattern in the background. And they're just like, oh, that's really creepy. That was really creepy. I don't know why. Them moving towards with their mouth open like that. Anyway, so they drop it into the water. They go to their slide storage vaults. They grab all the reels. They throw them into a pile. One by one, they scan them. Wait, I thought they burned them. They scanned them. Maybe this is how they got them into... Oh, okay. They scanned them into the virtual world, but only some of them, and then they burned them. Yeah, they burned the majority of them. They only scanned some of them. Okay. Well, now we need to go to the scavenger hunt location. Fastest way there. Well, let's see if we can memorize another one of those locations, because coming back here is going to be a pain. Let's see if I can memorize the other two. Okay, this one is really hard for me. I don't really even know where this is. There's a grate? How did we miss a grate? Some kind of grates. There's a house with a bird next to it. And a tiny river in front. I think that's all I can do here. A house with a bird. Left. Grate. Tiny river. And then this one is... Actually, this one seems to be... Cliffside Village. Oh! Wait, right there. Right there is the entrance to the building we're in now. So if we're looking at the entrance to the tunnel, the ghost matter tunnel, it is the building on the left, the tiny shed hanging off the building on the left. In fact, we can do that one right now. Okay. Tower, looking at tower, 2 docks, tower on our left, cliff on the right, go up, tree. Then birdhouse on the left, there's a great tiny river, and then the one we just saw, which is looking at the tunnel on the left, tiny shed hanging off of house. Ow. Wasn't expecting to get hurt there. There it is, right there. So now we have to figure out how to get in. I don't think we need this right now, so we're going to drop it. So that we can freely use our scouter. Well, this doesn't help us, does it? Well, that was interesting. There we go. Okay, so how do we get in here? From the bottom, it would appear. How have we never tried this before? Like, why did we never try to jump up here? Oh, because we can't. I see. Can we call the elevator? No, the controls are broken. And no matter how much we give it the thruster, we can't break through gravity enough to go up. There's us. There's the ceiling. Well, unless we can get in through the window, which I sincerely doubt we can. How would we do this? There's just not a feasible way in. Sorry, I'm having trouble figuring out why is it that we can jump higher outside? Do you see that? Why can we jump higher outside but lower inside? That's weird. Look, I'm not crazy. You can see there, we clearly can jump higher outside. Unfortunately, though, we're nearly out of fuel. Let's check the surface integrity of some of these. No, seems like it has fine surface integrity. Is there a fuel cell nearby? We could go back to our ship. It's kind of funny, I don't think we've ever done that. It's also possible that once the dam breaks, the water will knock something loose that allows us to get in. So, us killing a bit of time to go back to our ship isn't the worst thing in the world, because we're kind of just waiting around anyway to see if that's the case. Although, I kind of don't know how to get back to our ship. I think it's a this-a-way-ish direction, kind of. Here we go. Okay, so we can at least renew our efforts with a full fuel tank this time. Oh no. That's very bad. Well, we're committed now. We're gonna have to make a full circle to come back. That's okay, we can check out, like, to see if there are other, the other secret locations. I don't think one of the secret locations is here, because one of the clues in my head is tiny river, and this is not a tiny river. There's a tiny river. Okay, so we need to find a house with a bird on it, I believe. This is a tiny river. That's a house with a bird on it. Okay, so the grate should be here then. Oh hey, a grate! We never saw this before. Probably because we weren't really intent on looking in a location blocked by trees. Nice. Oh, look at that. All of the, okay, so there's the device they use to scan everything. And here's all the burned slides. Oh. Spooky. Please don't kill me. Oh. Oh, looks like we can just go up. Interesting. So you grab this and they're like, ah, now you're stuck here. But obviously we can just fly out over here. Okay. Well, that's cool. We found one slide. Where's the nearest place we can play this? I'm trying to think. Isn't there one up here? But are we even able to get back? We might not be able to. Might be better if we just press on forward. I can never remember where these doggone projectors are. I think there was a second one right there. Because we're looking at the tower here. The two dock stations should be up there. I think that's the tree right there. But we can only hold one slide at a time, so let's just handle this one first. Really want to avoid the white water if we can. Ah, nice. A raft. Although, isn't it that we can't get that one because the controls are broken now? So we'll have to get the one that's over here by the tower, if it's still there. It might not be. No, it got washed away. Rats. I'm pretty sure we can't get this one. Yeah. Wait, maybe? Oh, nice. Okay. We can just kind of pilot it out. So we're gonna kind of kill two birds with one stone here. We're gonna get to a projector that I know exists, which is in the Cliffside Village. But we're also... Oh, no we're not. We're going to miss the Cliffside Village. Gosh darn it. Well, you know what? Hang tight, because there's absolutely nothing stopping us from making a full loop here. But then again, isn't there a projector in there? I think there is. Let's dock and go find it. It even has a lantern. Okay, so this is exciting because this is a hidden slide reel that we haven't seen. Ooh, it's creepy. Okay, we've probably been here before. Okay. He gives the password to this guy. They walk through. Yeah, this is the house. This is the house they're patrolling. And they're in this... And he takes it... He walks through the fire? Okay, hold on. We need to see that again. He hands him the password. The virtual password, because this is the password that exists in the virtual world. He goes over here, goes in, and just literally walks through the fire. Is that what we need to do? Maybe. Okay, and that was the slide reel in the grate. Oh no, I think, oh no, that's just a different raft. Our raft is here. Ow. Now, if we're lucky, we might be able to go back to the Cliffside Village and see if the water opened up a new path for us. Might be a good idea to see if we can stop at the burned out church to see if we can pick up some fuel as well. Uh-oh, we don't have much time left. The tower just fell. Wait, why do I keep missing it? I'm taking the wrong path. Oh well. I guess we can't prove that yet. Let's go ahead and meditate until next loop. Because we're just gonna have to check to see if the water opens up a path in the Cliffside Village on the next rotation. Okay, so what do? We enter from the normal location. We grab the reel that presumably is next to the tree in front of the tower, and we see if we can read that one. And what clue did we get from the last one? Okay, we're just gonna leave the ship. The clue that we got from the last, or the slide we just watched, was ow. We are kind of, like, very beat up. Wait, what clue did we gain? We grabbed the slide reel, we went in there. Why can't I remember? I must be very tired. Okay, there's the tower, there's the island we need to get to. In fact, we might hop ship here. Okay, so the slide reel should be around here somewhere. Unless it's in the tree, which I suppose would be possible. Or like in the tree as in on top of the tree somewhere. I don't think so. Oh, right, right, right. We saw the slide reel of the guys entering the fireplace. With the password that we need. Man, even though we know that it should be around here, it's proving difficult to find. We are at the right place, aren't we? Wait, maybe we're not. We're kind of close to the tower. Okay, if I remember correctly, the stagnant pool was nearby. This is the stagnant pool, and then it was up here, I thought. Maybe it's down there. It looked like it was next to a tree. Wait, maybe this is it? Maybe that's the wrong island. Maybe it's this island. And if so, how do we get up here? Carefully. That's how. Something tells me this isn't how we're supposed to get up here. Oh, of course. The archway. One wrong turn in the white water, though, and we're toast. We'll have to walk the rest of the way to conserve our fuel. Okay, is this the tree? I don't feel like it is, though. This doesn't feel like the right location. I was pretty sure we were at the right place last time. Because look, the shallow area, the pool isn't in quite the right place. Yeah, and that isn't to our left. It's right in front of us. That has to be it. That one right there. But before we get ourselves killed, let's go grab some more fuel. This one certainly is proving to be more difficult to find. Then again, we weren't exactly successful at finding the one in the Cliffside Village either, so I suppose we're really 1 for 2 right now. Uh-oh. That's not good. Maybe we can get up on this part? Maybe? There we go. Okay. I'm going to continue looking on this cliff, because I'm almost certain this was where it said it was. We'll check the tree roots here, but I suppose it could be inside the cliff somehow, but I don't know how we would get in this cliff. Okay, so the shallow pool is to our right, where it should be. Here's one of the big trees. Maybe it's hidden down here in the roots. Maybe not. Wait, what's that? It looks like a knot in the tree, but could have been in there, but it wasn't. Suppose there are a couple knots in the tree. Could be in any of these knots. But again, it's not. And no, that was not meant to be a pun. It's not in the top of the tree. You have to think, if they were going to hide it, they would have put it somewhere that was secure in some way. So it probably is in some kind of enclosed space. A space where a minor jostle wouldn't send it flying. A space that was hidden but also secure. Not easy to get to, but not so ridiculous that it could not be obtained. And the real struggle I'm having is it this tree, or is it this tree? Or is it neither tree? I might need to look at the picture again. It feels like it should be right here. Anyone who knows where it is must be laughing at me, which is fine. Okay, the dam broke. Is it here? No. I keep really expecting it to be like either under the tree roots or in the tree branches, but I feel like putting it in the tree branches wouldn't exactly be a secure location to hide something. It's because anyone could look up and see it. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that one. This time, let's take the proper route to the Cliffside Village, which means we need to go all the way to the right. I keep making this mistake. Nope, there it is. No. Ugh. Yeah, we can't fight the current. I'm pretty bad at that, aren't I? Well, at least the music's nice because we're gonna make an entirely new loop to get back there. That raft is on the roof. And finally. What was that, the 4th attempt? In total? Okay, so we went the wrong way. We need to be over here. There's our building, and no, it actually doesn't seem like the water really did anything, does it? Wait, did it break the window? Oh, I think it did. Yeah, I think... No, it didn't. I just couldn't see it from where I was standing. Oh, no! Well, I think we at least confirmed that the flood doesn't open up any paths there. Man, how did we spend that entire cycle and not find anything, not find what we were looking for? We have the clues, we know what we're looking for, but yet we still didn't find it. Entering into the stranger with, like, almost no health really didn't help us, though. We're gonna give it one more shot. I was gonna end after that loop, but we're so close to uncovering something new. It feels wrong to quit here. Okay, step number 1 of not entering the stranger with, like, no health. I think it means we need to enter into the gravitational, whatever you want to call it, dead on. Because what happens is we keep crashing. And I think we're crashing because we're not... There we go. From here, we simply must land as such. And there we go. Okay, let's take another peek at the clues that we got for this. That is not the correct way. Okay, this one. Yeah, it is the land right next to that shoal, or what's the word for it? The little separate body of water. It seems to be very close to that rock. Is there any other landmark we can use? If we're standing where we need to be standing, I don't know. I'm having difficulty finding any better way of knowing where we are. I guess the only thing I can say is if we're standing where we need to be standing, that rock in the water should be our left, on our left, and slightly up. Oh, right, the lantern. Okay, so before I can accidentally kill us again, I'm actually gonna go back to the ship. Grab some fuel, heal the bits. And from here, what's the fastest way to the tower? Tower's right there. We can't exactly go backwards, can we? Maybe we can. Oh, that was close. Ugh. Nope. Uh-oh. Well, now we're stuck going the other way. Normally we would take a raft over here, but since our ultimate goal is just to get up on the cliffs, we'll just go straight there. Okay, there's that weird rock. Weird rock is there. Slightly to our right. Tower is over there. Right here. This seems to be the position. If I had to guess, I'd say it's this tree. Maybe a little closer up. Maybe in this rock. The only other thing I can think is that it's in the cliff itself, and that somehow we need to enter the cliff. A part of me wonders how they even hid it up there. I don't see any openings. Is there a way into the cliff from this building? No, just slides. And a projector. How do we get back? It's easy to do when the water's high. Uh-oh. Maybe we don't need the water to be high? Maybe we can still do it here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's see if there's any kind of entrance into this cliff that we might be missing. We were actually here exploring this before, but we didn't find anything. So I kind of think we aren't going to find anything now, but I could be wrong. Wait. Wait, what? How did we miss this? How? What? We put the lantern there, but then the slide reel came here. We've been flooded. Oh, we just exit through here? Have we been here before? I feel like we were, because I vaguely remember finding that room with the burned slides. But did we get this slide reel when we visited? And that part I can't remember. We'll find out when we read this slide. But yeah, I sort of really vaguely remember us doing that already, but I don't know if we got the slide reel, and I don't know, even if we got the slide reel, I don't know if we even played it on anything. Or maybe I only got the lantern, or something like that. If we watch this slide and it doesn't tell us that the ship log updated, then I'm gonna assume we've seen it. If it does update, then good chance that we didn't see it already. Well, I'd say it's pretty determined that we didn't see it already then. Alright, let's take a gander. Okay, we've got the tower. And the code in our left hand. We ride the boat. He's like, hey, you've got the thing. Let me take that for you, fam. We do that, and then... What? 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 Are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. It's that bloody church. That doggone church that I kept being like, why is this church here? Why is there this burned out church? There's the guardian statue. I know exactly where this is. He goes across, and then he's like, oh, let me just casually look over there. Whoop! And then he teleports from a catcher. That's how we get past it. Jiminy. Gosh darn it. We combed up and down every inch of that place and still missed something. Oh well. At least now we know. Hey, but we didn't get a ship log update, did we? Had we seen that already? I don't remember it, though. But okay, we have one final place to go, and that is the little hanging shed over here that is right here. We can't call the elevator. We can't jump up. So we must need to do this some other way. It doesn't seem like we can get in through the window. We're also almost out of fuel again. So I'm afraid we're gonna have to go back to the ship. Wait, where are we? I'm lost. Did the building that had the entrance to our ship get washed away? Oh well. Oh, Chezni, why do you do this to yourself? At least we managed to make it back. Okay, so if we can't jump up it... Oh, are you serious? There's an elevator right here. How did I miss this? So it's somewhere up here. And all we need to do is... Oh, we literally just call the elevator down and use the elevator to jump up. That is far simpler than I was... Uh-oh. Actually, what we do is we use the elevator to jump up and then fall through the cracks in the floor and then drown. Top score. Okay. So... Wait, we still can't make it. I think I know how to do this. We need to use our scout. We need to shine the light from the scout on the elevator and trigger it while we're on top. We don't have the time to do it now, or even if we do it, we're not going to have the time to read the slide, which is a little frustrating. But, wait, what? No. Yeah, we do it like that. Okay, Mr. Slide, where are you? Oh, you're in here, of course. Hey, we did it. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to be able to grab this in time. Looks like we were able to leave faster than the door closed, but had we not been able to, we would have had to probably use the scout to shine the light again to get ourselves out of that predicament. Well, nuts. We got the third slide, but we didn't get to read it. But I think that's where we're going to quit tonight. We still managed to uncover quite a few last really embedded pieces of the mystery, and I think we have the keys. We just need to go use them to unlock the last puzzles. We need to run through the fireplace, apparently, in the cabin. We need to use the boat that goes to the derelict, burned out church to find a catcher and immediately teleport there, and then presumably we'll get the third slide, read it, and figure out yet another puzzle, presumably the last piece of the puzzle that we need. Anyway, this was still a lot of fun. We are definitely nearing the end of this. I mean, I keep saying that, but seriously, we have to, like, everything's being connected here, as you see, and the number of loose ends is just very, very small now. But yeah, when we pick up in the next one, we'll be here investigating those last bits, and one day we will finish the Ash Twin project and wrap up the final story in Outer Wilds. But until then, thank you as always for spending any of your time in the day watching a crazy person play video games online. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to hang with me live, you can find me at Twitch, Twitch Chezni. Otherwise, if you're watching this on Twitch, you can find the YouTube archive videos on YouTube under Chezni 2004. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a great day.